In this tutorial, I'll be sharing about the basic workflow of DeepChem. For this purpose, we will be seeing about how to train and evaluate a machine learning model using DeepChem. The tutorial assumes that the viewers are familiar with Python data science ecosystem like the NumPy, Pandas and such libraries. To run DeepChem in Colab, it has to be installed first. So to install, we run the command pip install pre-deepchem to install the nightly version, and we also install the library rdkit. So rdkit is a chem informatics library which is used by deepchem in the backend, and it will be useful for this tutorial. So once we have installed DeepChem, we import it, and for this tutorial purpose we are using DeepChem of developmental version 2.6. So the first example of training a model with DeepChem. Every deep learning problem has a same set of workflow, a basic workflow. Here are the typical steps which one follows. First, we select the data set which you would like to train the model on. The next step is to create the model, like build the model using different architectures like convolution neural network or feed forward layers and such. The third step is to train the model on the data, and then we evaluate the models on an independent test set to see how well it works. And at last, after choosing the best model by evaluating different models, we choose one model which performs best to make predictions about new data. With DeepChem, each of these steps can be a very few lines of code, just 1 or 2 lines of code. In this tutorial, we will walk through a basic example which demonstrates the complete workflow of selecting a data set, creating a model, training it, and evaluating it, as well as making predictions. The problem which we will be solving is predicting the solubility of small molecules given their chemical formulas. This is a very important problem in drug discovery, in drug development. If a drug isn't soluble enough, then it will not get into the patient's bloodstream to have a therapeutic effect. The first thing we need is a data set. One of the core components of DeepChem is MoleculeNet. It is a diverse collection of chemical, molecular datasets, as well as it is also expanded to material science datasets and such. So from the MoleculeNet suite of dataset, we will be using the Delaney dataset. The dataset can be loaded using the MolNet API, and it has these keywords. The first one is futurizer, transformer, and splitter. I won't say much about this code right now, but we will look onto them more deeper in later tutorials. But there are like a few details which I would like to draw attention to. The futurizer argument says how to futurize the data. Like molecules can be represented in many ways. Like we can just represent the molecules as number of atoms of each element, or we can represent the molecules as a graph. The graph convolution is a futurizer. The term graph convolution represents the convolution molecular futurizer. So this futurizer implements the dependent graph convolutions to create a vector of descriptors for each atom in a molecule. The next thing is transformers. The transformers say how to transform the data. Basically, when using machine learning for preparing data for machine learning purposes, we transform the data, like do min-max scaling or set transform. So in this case, we are normalizing the future field. The third argument is splitter, which I will come back after a moment. So once a dataset is loaded, it returns 3 objects. The first one is task, datasets, and the transformers used. The task says about for what tasks or like for what purposes the dataset can be used. So the Denali dataset can be used is a dataset of measured log solubility in moles per liter for chemical molecules. Hence, the dataset can be used for predicting the log solubility of a chemical compound in moles per liter. The transformer is the transformer which is used to transform the data. Here, in our case, we are using the normalization transformer which transforms the data. The second thing is datasets. So, a dataset object comprises of three objects. The first one is a trained dataset object, then the valid dataset, and then the test dataset objects. So, each of these datasets serves a different function in a deep learning workflow. The model is first trained on the trained dataset, and then it is evaluated, and operations like hyperparameter optimization are performed on the validation dataset, and the final results are reported in the test dataset. Normally, in many machine learning use cases, the data points are randomly splitted across these three sets. But this is not always suitable for scientific dataset. Hence, we are using here a scaffold split. What scaffold split does is attempts to separate structurally different molecules into different subsets. Hence, it will offer a greater challenge for learning or algorithms than a simple random split. So, the splitter helps in splitting the dataset in a more scientifically aware way. Once the data split is splitted, let's examine it briefly. So, we see that the trained dataset is of object type disk dataset, and it contains the attributes X, Y, W, and IDs, as well as the task names. First, the IDs are the futures of are like the index of the dataset. Here, the dataset contains the chemical names. The chemicals represented in SMILE structure, which acts as IDs, and the X represents the dataset in a futurized format. The futurized data points. So we see that each data point is futurized by a convolution molecular futurizer, which we have specified during the loading of dataset. And the trained dataset.y contains the log scale water solubility for the compound. It is the labels. So what is then W? In the datasets, in some cases, it will be required to give a more weightage or more importance to a specific data point than other data points. So such kind of information could be passed using the attribute W. Now that we have our data, the next step is to create a model. One of the key advantages of using DeepChem is to make predictions. All you need to do is get the data set and get the model and plug them all together. So DeepChem also offers a collection of models as part of its library, as parts of its functionalities. And in this case, we are using a graph convolution model. So this model performs a convolution network on graphs to learn the molecular fingerprints, and it is based on the paper Duenant and al., which was published in NeurIPS 2015. So once we have the model loaded, we fit it on the trained dataset. Here are a few things which I would like to draw attention to. The first one is the end task, and the second one is the mode, and the third one is dropout. So end task says the number of tasks associated with the dataset. So we have, for this dataset, only one task, which is predicting the log solubility of molecules. The second one is mode. So DeepChem models usually have two modes. The first mode is regression, or the other one is the classification. Models can be used in these two modes for prediction task as well as for regression like task and classification. like task. In case you need to do classification, all you need to change is the mode. And dropout specifies the dropout which is to be applied in the day during model training. So once everything has the training is completed, we can then evaluate the model on the test data set. So we do that by first choosing an evaluation metric and calling the evaluate of on the model. For this example, we will be using the R square score as our metric, and we can evaluate it on both the training test set as well as the test set. So the evaluation metric is provided by dc.metrics deepchem's metric API, and we are choosing the Pearson R square score, and then we are evaluating the model on the train set as well as the test set. We see that the training set has a higher score than the test set. This is probably due to overfitting, and this is one of the key reasons why we should evaluate our model on an independent test set. Because only when we are evaluating on an independent test set, we can get to know whether the model is overfitting or underfitting or about it, and more about it. Now we will use a built model to make predictions. So we are predicting on the first 10 data samples of the test data set, and what we have here is the predicted solubility, the actual solubility, and the molecule for which the solubility was predicted. DeepChem is a great tool for applying AI in science. It is being developed to solve problems in semiconductors, material science, bioinformatics, and many other applications. Its core strengths lie in chem informatics and drug discovery. So, what's next? You can join the DeepChem community. You can start DeepChem on GitHub, and it is an open source project with a very supportive community. So you can also take part in development by joining and DeepChem hosts a number of scientists, developers, and enthusiasts in its GitHub channel. So you can just jump in and join the conversation, where you can ask any questions about DeepChem on GitHub. You can also introduce yourself in the forum and post your questions or doubts in it. In the next tutorial, we will be seeing about how to work with dataset used in DeepChem. Thank you.